Right, hello everyone. Well, here we are at my first go at some scenery using the world editor. We're on a helipad. It was a rooftop one, and I've just placed it across the runway here. And I wanted to build myself a test track for low-level flying. So I loaded in the nearest airport to Spa, as in the racing track, because I knew it had some good elevation changes there as well, and tried World Editor, and this is my first few days. So those great big balloon red things you see in front of you are markers for the turning points in the forest where I've been cutting different tracks through the forestry area, but I've also put in a couple of buildings. And let's have a quick look around. Now, I was going to be using overlay editor, but I did load it in, and because it came up with the APT error, I didn't go any further. But it seems I made a bit of a mistake there, because it seems if you just ignore that, you can actually still use the overlay editor. So I jumped into the world editor and I'd got a certain way through. So I will go back and look at overlay editor. Everyone says it's a bit simpler, and if it's simple, that's got to help me. So as you see here, I added in a hangar and a tower and some concrete areas and a few cars and whatever. And you will see an awful lot of these great big red fuel. I take it they're fuel towers, but with laminar written on. Now the reason I'm using them is I laid myself out a basic circuit and filled in autogen forest area. So we'll head off down the straight. We're in the Nimbus UH, as you can tell, but we're in Josh's version, the brand new looking one. I do love this one, it's so nice and crisp. But obviously low flying is the aim of the game. And I laid down autogen forestry in roughly 7 different areas, 7 different tracks. But what I found was I couldn't work out the width of the helicopter in relation to the type of turn that you were going to be doing. And by placing these great big red markers that you're going to see everywhere, it enabled me to work out how you can get the turns in. So on this one here, for instance, if I do a bank turn here, keep it nice and low, I know down this part I can move the forest in a little bit more on the right and left. Got to remove a tree there, and because I used the Spa area, we've got some changes in height here, which is good. And so at every corner where the forest is, I placed one of these. Looks a bit silly, I know, you can see them going off in the distance and whatever, but I now know that I can come in and I'll move those markers in until I've got myself a nice easy track, and then one which will be a little bit tighter, and then one I'm thinking about doing with water underneath. It's really just for myself, it's only for fun. But these markers, as you can see here, I moved out to see if I can get the turn in, and if I can on this one, then I will move the forestry area and make the track that little bit narrower and a bit harder to do. So hopefully my head's not shaking too much today with the old dystonia, because I'm using the Oculus mirror, and that does have the disadvantage of making the head tremor I've got worse, but this is an absolute joy to fly already. It's a very easy track laid out at the moment, so it's not exactly hard, but maybe it will give somebody a few pointers. I had never bothered messing about with it, and the last couple of days I've really enjoyed learning the process of just putting down some basic objects, learning about the way the libraries work, and once all this gets a little bit narrower, I think it's going to be quite a test for low-level flight, and perhaps one day we'll be able to have helicopter races around such a track or such an area. So here we are coming back. That was the short route round, and you can see it gives me an idea. If you've got a good turn there, you'd get back here, and the original idea was you'd have to come round and land back on the pad you started with, right or left, that is. So what I'll do, I'll just go up and give you an idea of sort of the number of areas, because you'll see all these red domes up there. Let's just circle round, then we'll be able to look from the back of the track. You can see them stretching away there in the distance, and I've got some quite long routes marked out which I haven't shown just now, that I'll be working on, and I might leave the red towers in, I might take them out, but at the moment they're being used really to try and work out how far to move the tree line level in through the cutouts in the forest, as it were. So let's have a slightly faster, go a different route this time. Let's get slap of the blades going. So we won't take this first turn, or the turn on the right, which I'm thinking about doing the water section on the right, just to make it different. That's the turn-in we took last time. I had to lay down a texture over the entire area just to try and get a uniform green. And I've got a bit of a wide turn here, as you can see, but then I've got a split, so you go left or right there. We'll take the right hand one, drop down, trying to keep it low down with the level of the base, or base, the ground, and then we can see where this turn's going to go. And I'm not sure I've done this turn yet, so give me an idea at speed, which is the main thing. We can all hover around such a thing, and there's a good example about, look how wide this area is that I first set up. I haven't put any markers here yet, but once I've got an idea and I've seen it on one of top view in the editor, then I'll know that all the openings and the run-throughs will have to be that certain size. you know, a beginner's route this width, just to follow the land and be low enough. I might keep one like that round the outside with shallow turns, and then I'll do an infield one, pushing the limits a bit, maybe more for the MD 500 type, the helicopter. And you can see the change in height again. But very wide on this section, so over the next few days I'll close that section up. Give me an idea of the turn here. Still a very wide area because it's down in the bottom part of the track. Over the top, and a great descent down. And there might be a way to actually do an outline or a line to follow, different colours for different tracks down the centre of the grass perhaps, or something like that. But get the basics right first. I had enough trouble placing objects and learning how to rotate them and getting the whole thing to work, so we take it fairly gentle at the moment. Let's say it's quite a large area. I was expecting the start finish line to be there, so it's going to be round the next one hopefully. Start slowing down. Not that I expect to be able to land on the helipad. I've had so much trouble flying today. It's muscle memory, and just this condition I've got, it's a pain in the arse sometimes. Just when you want to try something out and then you find you can't actually fly very well in the first place. So I'm going to miss it, I think, but let's see if we can get down at least on it. Or a bit of skew, button down. So thanks for watching that. I'll keep you updated as I carry on, or if I do carry on doing this. It's certainly been a good bit of fun for a few days, and for those that haven't tried it, try either the world editor or the overlay editor. One thing it will do is give you a great appreciation of the guys who are doing the scenery and the other things in X-Plane, because they really are works of art, a bit like Josh's interior here. You know, the jobs they're doing takes a lot of time, and a lot of us take it for granted. So thanks for watching. Press the subscribe button if you can, and I'll see you all next week.